BMW blends the custom pot with its cruiser advertising. BMW made an obvious play for a cut of the American cruiser market when it disclosed the R18 of every 2020. Large and reckless, it was a finished flight for the German organization, be that as it may, with regular effectiveness. BMW took care of business from the outset. The motor, the biggest variant of the famous fighter twin motor to date, is a colossal piece of metal, yet is unusually fit to this application, and the style acquired vigorously from pre-war BMW models, particularly the dark paint with white pinstriping and the state of the fuel tank. Out and about, the elements misrepresent the size and weight, and BMW has rushed to offer elective adaptations to the base R18. The most recent is the R18 Roctane, a half-breed of the base model, and the R18 Bagger. Presently 3 years of age, the R18 isn't new. However, the Roctane model brings a genuinely new thing to the blend, and that incorporates the riding experience. It's somewhat of a crossbreed in that it has the front edge of the standard R18 and the back casing of the R18 Bagger, so the Roctane can likewise have hard panniers fitted as standard. The greatest visual change is the reception of a 21-inch front Hagel inch-back tire, which modifies the appearance as well as has advantages to ground freedom and soundness, which makes it handle a ton better and builds its general riding capacities. The R18's greatest component, truly, is without a doubt that colossal fighter twin motor. At 1802 cc, it is the biggest motor at any point shoehorned into a BMW, and the force response while beginning the bicycle or blipping the choke at halt must be felt to be accepted, yet all at once, it's nothing hazardous. It creates 89 pull and 117 foot-pounds of force, which is all that anyone could need to drive the 824-pound cruiser alongside soul and packs of character. Top force is conveyed at 3,000 RPM, and from the second you open the choke, you just ride on a smooth influx of perpetual force, which is totally habit-forming and punches you out of corners like you might have a hard time believing. To adapt, the gearbox is thick and weighty, and impartial can be precarious to connect with. However, you before long become accustomed to snicking it into unbiased before you grind to a halt. The R18's greatest component, truly, is without a doubt that colossal fighter twin motor. At 1802 cc, it is the biggest motor at any point shoehorned into a BMW, and the force response while beginning the bicycle or blipping the choke at halt must be felt to be accepted, yet all at once, it's nothing hazardous. It creates 89 pull and 117 foot-pounds of force, which is all that anyone could need to drive the 824-pound cruiser alongside soul and packs of character. Top force is conveyed at 3,000 RPM, and from the second you open the choke, you just ride on a smooth influx of perpetual force, which is totally habit-forming and punches you out of corners like you might have a hard time believing. To adapt, the gearbox is thick and weighty, and impartial can be precarious to connect with. However, you before long become accustomed to snicking it into unbiased before you grind to a halt. That expansion in ability to corner implies the rider can travel much quicker, regardless of the kind of street on which you are riding. Tragically, the brakes aren't sufficiently strong to contain that much weight going at quicker speeds. It's nothing special to the R18 Roctane, and the front brakes offer next to no concerning feel at the switch and nibble. They can feel a piece wooden, regardless of whether they are just about sufficiently strong. The extra 63 pounds of weight the Roctane extends the standard R18 further expenses the brakes, every one of the three of which are actuated by the hand switch, while the foot brake pedal deals with the back brake as it were. It's a BMW, so you would anticipate that the form quality should be remarkable, and it is, while the scrupulousness is likewise top-notch. Obviously, a ton of thought has gone into each part of the plan, and the general put-togetherness is however close wonderful as you may probably experience on any bike, which obviously you would expect at the cost, see underneath. Despite the fact that the R18 is just 3 years of age, its unwavering quality has been absolutely awesome, without any flaws, major or minor, being accounted for from proprietors. Shockingly, BMW has picked to not trouble the R18 Roctane with much in the method of hardware or gear. On account of gadgets, there is ABS and footing control, and the Roctane comes standard with voyage control, notwithstanding 3 riding modes that change choke reaction, foothold control, and motor pressure slowing down. You can truly feel the distinction between the 3. Obviously, the core value behind the R18 is that it is a fresh start for customization, so BMW is clearly anticipating that you should dig into the frill index and add to the not insignificant base cost. As well as stylish additional items, extra cost choices likewise incorporate warmed holds, slope start control, and an opposite gear, which is a piece mischievous given the price tag. As standard, the Roctane comes equipped with a fairly simple instrument cluster, comprising a single round dial mounted in the headlight shell. The bulk of the dial is given over to an analog speedometer, and there's a digital panel in the bottom half, which only shows one piece of information at a time, and there is no fuel gauge, which is a frustration on long journeys. It's also worth noting that for smaller riders, the dash is at a fairly steep angle, which makes it fairly difficult to read in glaring sunlight. But its appearance fits the style of the bike. BMW has acquired a mountain of knowledge about fitting panniers, or, for this situation, saddlebags, to its bikes, and they've effectively utilized the involvement with the R18 Roctane. They are hard packs with a side-pivoted top, which is lockable. Altogether, there are 54 liters of extra room, which is very great considering the sacks have been intended to squeeze into the general lines of the bicycle, which isn't generally the companion of good stockpiling. The packs are variety-coded to the remainder of the bicycle. Accessible tones are Dark Tempest Metallic, Mineral Dim Metallic, and Manhattan Metallic Matte, and are permanently set up, so you're not taking them off. The R18 Roctane is, in accordance with every one of its opponents in the cruiser fragment, a weighty piece of iron, steel, and aluminum, so you want to have a specific measure of solidarity to heave it around. Fortunately, the low seat level and great equilibrium of the bicycle makes it moderately simple to move at low paces. For riders who like a foot-forward riding position, you will be frustrated as those 2 colossal chambers standing out either side forestall something besides footboards mounted in the customary position, with no arrangement or plausibility of extending your legs. The R18 Roctane has a keyless start setup, yet you want to open the panniers and connect with or separate the guiding lock and open the discretionary locking filler cap on the fuel tank. We keep mentioning the price of the R18 Roctane to perhaps it's about time we stop procrastinating and get down to it. When it arrives in the 3rd quarter of 2023, the price will be $18,695. The most obvious rivals are the Harley-Davidson Road King Bagger at $19,929, the Street Glide Bagger at $22,249, the Road Glide Bagger at $22,249, or the Electra Glide Bagger at $19,249. Then there is the Indian Super Chief at $18,999 to add to the American contingent. Models such as the Ducati X Diavel and Triumph Rocket 3 could also take sales away from BMW, even though they aren't playing in the same segment.